Good afternoon, everybody. I wanted to thank you so very much for joining us on this Sunday afternoon, taking some time off from your day to learn so much about these important things that we have going on within our community. I would like to take a minute and introduce our wonderful Chair of Diversity and Inclusion, Pooja Khanna, who has put together this amazing event. Pooja, go right ahead.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you, Lisa. It is an absolute honor. Every time I, put something together for diversity and inclusion, it gives me immense joy because the whole idea of living in this world is living in a peaceful way, learning about every culture that we possibly can, and, live in peace and harmony. So this brings us to the point of acknowledging a few things that are going on today as we are celebrating. As you can see, I'm actually dressed in traditional Indian clothes. I just came from attending a big event for the festivities that are going on in the Hindu community. So we are celebrating Ram Navami. So huge shout out to everybody who's celebrating this festival today here and across the world. So this is a really big day for the Hindu community, and it's the birth of Sri Ram, an avatar of God Vishnu. So may blessings be upon this world. We are also, today is also a very auspicious day for everyone who's celebrating Palm Sunday, which is also called Passion Sunday. So in the Christian tradition, the first day of the Holy Week and the Sunday before Easter. So shout out to that. And April is also Afghan month. So, as you can see, diversity and inclusion, we're talking about every culture that we possibly can. We're acknowledging everybody out there. So so shout out to the entire humanity, whoever is celebrating whatever, let the celebrations begin. And we are specifically gathered here today because we are celebrating essentially, the festivities around Baisakhi. Baisakhi, which is also pronounced as Vaisakhi, is the first day of the month Baisakh, and is usually celebrated on the 13th to the 14th of April. So we wanted to do this event before so that everybody, when the date rolls in, you guys are aware of the fact that Sikhs are actually celebrating Vaisakhi. And so do Hindus also celebrate this for springtime and harvest festival time in India. So without further conversations, I would like to introduce our guests, Guru Sangat Kaur Khalsa and Adarsh Kaur to the event and call today. Introductions for them, they actually need none, but nevertheless, Adarsh Khalsa is a native from New York who has been practicing Sikh since the community in 1973. It's been a joy to unite my spiritual beliefs with her actions. Sadarni Sahiba, Guru Sangat Kaur Khalsa, has been a Sikh minister since 1977. She's been practicing and teaching Kundalini Yoga and meditation since 1972. Starting out in West Virginia mountains, she plays kirtan, the musical meditation for Sikhs, and makes art. Guru Sangat Kaur and her husband Singh Sahib Guru Sangat Singh live in Great Falls, Virginia. They are part of the congregation of Raj Khalsa Gurdwara, the Sikh temple in Sterling, Virginia, which also welcomes everyone to attend its services on Friday evenings and Sunday mornings. Each service is followed by a delicious community meal. So if you are available on Sunday mornings, do visit the Gurdwara and enjoy the community meal with them. You're always welcome for a service and also, attend the other ceremonies that happen at Raj Khalsa Gurdwara. So, what are we doing this afternoon? What is Baisakhi? What are we thinking about? So with that, let's hear from our guests what Baisakhi is, what it means to Sikh culture, and what is the significance of the celebration of it.
Thank you so much. And good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. And thank you for inviting Adarsh Kaur and myself to share the Sikh way of life with you. So Baisakhi is a beautiful celebration that sprung out of the traditional Indian celebration of the spring. Every religion has a celebration of the spring, as Pooja was just pointing out. Every single religion has something in the springtime because it is a time of renewal, rebirth in nature and in humanity. So the Sikh way of life, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what a Sikh is, because many people don't even know or never heard of it. And so I'll give you a little background on that, and then we'll get into the actual Baisakhi part. The Sikh way of life is a very compassionate, loving way of life. That's the main thing about being a Sikh, is it's based in the heart, in compassion, in love, in worship, in a devotional attitude towards life and God and humanity. Sikhs are taught to serve humanity. So it goes very well with the ideals of the Democratic Party. The Sikh way of life was established by 10 successive human people, Sikh gurus, one after another, starting with Guru Nanak, who was the first Sikh guru. And each of these gurus was a pure channel of God's love and wisdom, and they inspired people whom they taught to live lives of devotion, love, service, and meditation, to live in God consciousness, seeing God in all, serving God in all. Sikh means student, and so it's a student of truth, of the ultimate truth that lives in everyone, which we call God. So in mid-April 1699, at the time of Baisakhi, the Indian celebration of the spring, Guru Gobind Singh Ji, who was the 10th Sikh Guru, the last human Sikh Guru, called all these Sikhs together. There were many thousands of Sikhs at that time, and to one place, and he said it was time to elevate their commitment to God and Guru to a higher plane. And so he gave a special baptism, which we called taking the Amrit, the nectar. He prepared a large bowl of water. His wife put sugar in it so that not only would you have the energy of the steel of the bowl to make you strong, but also the sweetness of the sugar in it to also make one sweet and kind and loving. So it was to give you the spirit of it, what we call a soldier saint, someone who was fearless, was ready to defend others, and also someone who was kind and compassionate and loving. So he prepared this special nectar, which we call Amrit, and served it to the Sikhs. And then he had them serve it to him, showing that he was just as much a Khalsa, which means pure one. They became Khalsas from this, as they were. And this was the first time ever that a guru, a higher being, put himself on the same level as his devotees. He said, whenever 5 Khalsas are gathered together in my name, I will be there with you. My spirit will be there. And you can, oftentimes when Sikhs have a conundrum, they'll gather 5 Khalsas together, meditate, and let the spirit of Guru Gobind Singh come in to help guide the 5. And we trust in those 5 to come up with a good decision. Very democratic way of doing it. Anyway, so Baisakhi is the highest celebration for the Sikhs. It's really a time for rededication and renewal of our faith. And at this time of year, many people who would like to take the Amrit go through the same ceremony to deepen their dedication and their commitment to this way of life. So the base, and so Adarshkar, I invite you to interrupt anytime you need to.
I think you're doing a wonderful job.
Okay. Anytime you want to, add on, please do. So I thought I'd let you know a little bit of what is a Sikh, the basic meaning of a Sikh, because a lot of people look at me and say, what are you? I had a friend who once used to tell people I'm a genie. So, there's all kinds of interpretations. So the whole thing about Sikh Dharma is that at the time, in the end of the 15th century, around the time that Christopher Columbus was coming to America, India was in a terrible time of turmoil and pain. People were being treated terribly. There was a lot of tyrants torturing, killing people, and life was very difficult. So a lot of prayers were going to God to please help us. And at that time, Guru Nanak was born. He was born into a Brahmin family, of a middle-class family. his father was a trader, he was a merchant, and but he was a pure, beautiful soul and light. And he came, and immediately people recognized how special he was and how different he was. So it's sort of interesting because just as Jesus was born into a Jewish family, Guru Nanak was born into a Hindu family, and he kept disappointing his father because he didn't know how to make good profit. Every time his father would send him out to do something to make money, he would instead give all the money away to the sadhus that he saw who were starving in the forest. He'd give them, go out and get them food, and said, I made a great bargain. I helped all these people. And his father would get furious. So he finally went to live with his sister, who understood who he really was, that he was a man of God and a representation of God, just manifest on earth. And while he was there, he did a lot of meditation. And one day, and he used to meditate by this river. And one day he went missing, and they couldn't find him. His little shawl was still by the riverside, but they couldn't find Guru Nanak for 3 days. And people thought he had drowned and all these things. But he came out 3 days later, and the first thing he said was, there's no Hindu, there's no Muslim, there's just one God. And at that time, the Muslims and the Hindus, a lot of them had gotten very caught up in the rituals of their religions and forgotten about the essence. Because the essence of every religion is truth, love, devotion, God. And so he was pointing out that, we all come from one God, and that is what really exists. And all this other manifestations and things really don't matter. It's what matters is your basic love of God and chanting God's name. So that's what he began to teach. And during that teaching, first thing he recited when he came from the river was this beautiful, sacred, powerful poem called Japji, which is called the Meditation of the Soul. That whole thing takes about 15, 20 minutes to recite. And it is the base of all of the Sikh way of life. Now, we call it Sikh Dharma rather than just Sikh religion or Sikhism, because Dharma means spiritual path, and Sikh means student of truth. So this is the spiritual path of a student of truth. And religion actually does mean the science of truth, of finding the truth. But in these modern times, it has a lot of other connotations. So we like to just keep it Sikh Dharma, so we understand it really is the path of a student of truth. So a big way, so Guru Nanak traveled all over the Middle East. He went to China, all kinds of places, teaching the truth and helping people and uplifting people. And after him, there came 9 more human Sikh gurus in succession. And the last of those was Guru Gobind Singh, the 10th guru. Guru Nanak gave us the base of Sikh Dharma, which is Japji. And also the base of Sikh Dharma is a very simple mantra, Ik Onkar Sat Guru Prasad. This means there is one creator manifest in the creation. And we know this through the grace of the guru. Now, I love this because no matter how hard you try to realize God within you or around you or in any way, you can only do it through grace. It can't be done through intellectual perseverance and all of this. It's a gift. Just as life is a gift, to realize God within you and around you and in everybody and in everything is a gift. So we do meditate, we do practice yoga and meditation in order to come to this realization, but we also understand that this is something that's a gift, just as life is a gift. Sikhs very much believe life is a gift. We have it as long as God wants to give it. Then when he wants to take us home again, we leave. So the attitude about life and death in a Sikh way of life is very light, because we believe the soul is eternal. And at the end, you just merge back into the light from which you came. So let's see what else I want to tell you about. So the beginning, so this mantra, Ik Onkar Sat Guru Prasad, it's called a mantra. Mantra is the word that means man is the mind, tra is the vibration. It's a vibration in the mind. And it's also called the code projection to decode the mystery of divinity. So some of the common mantras used in Sikh Dharma are Sat Nam. We say Sat Nam a lot because the beginning of Japji is Ik Onkar Sat Nam. Sat Nam means Sat is truth and Nam is name or identity or essence. So this is a great mantra we use with our breath often, inhaling Sat, exhaling Nam, mentally at times that we can remember, or when we do a meditation. And it helps us to remember that everything's essence is eternal, wonderful truth. And the other one that Guru Gobind Singh especially gave when he gave this nectar at Baisakhi is Wahe Guru. Wah is just basically means wow. He means is, and Guru is that which brings you from darkness into light. Gur is darkness, Ru is light. So from out of the darkness, you come into light. And when you realize that, you say, Wahe Guru. So that was a beautiful mantra that then Guru Gobind Singh gave to all the people who took Amrit. And of course, everybody who's a Sikh knows Wahe Guru, because that is a very basic mantra in Sikh Dharma. Now, with your permission, Pooja, I'd like to just teach a very simple first step meditation that involves the breath and the pulse. Is that fine?
Absolutely. Let's
I'd like you all to participate a bit rather than just sitting there and having me yammer on to you.
I am game. Everybody's game. I hope everybody's game too.
This is very simple. You have your pulse here on the inside of your wrist. You take these fingers of your right hand and press them in so you can feel the pulse, and you can start to feel it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just close your eyes and sit as tall as you can, chin slightly in. And as the pulse goes, let the pulse go sat nam, along with the pulse. Just close your eyes. We'll go for a whole minute. So I'm going to time it so you don't have to worry about that. So close your eyes, feel your pulse, just let your breath relax, let your mind relax, feel your gravity, and just hear that sound within you of Sat Nam with your pulse. And inhale. Relax your breath and relax. So anytime you need a quick meditation, or somebody says, would you teach me a meditation? That is the first meditation to teach. It's very simple and it makes you feel good. So that's the point, right? Okay, now the big thing in the Sikh Dharma is sound, the sacred sound. The belief, and it's just as in the Bible, it says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God. The same thing goes with Sikh Dharma and many, many faiths, that we all come from sound. And this sound that we use is called the sound current. And that sound is the sound of the earth, the universe, the whole existence as it's being created, organized, and is ultimately destroyed. And you can actually hear that sound. It's not a sound you normally hear, but when you meditate deeply, especially before the sun comes up, when it's very quiet, you might start to hear it. You'll hear a sound that you've never heard before. Just follow that sound, stay with it, relax into it. And that we believe by following that sound, you can just follow into the source, which is God. Because when you take the word God and break it down, G is for generator, O, organizer, and D, destroyer or deliverer. So that's how we think of God, as the one who creates, organizes, and destroys, and does everything in the universe. So one of the sounds we use in Sikh Dharma and in Kundalini Yoga, which uses a lot of the mantras from Sikh Dharma, is the sound Om. And Om is the sound of creative energy, of the sound of God as creator. In other faiths, they use Om, but that is God as just doing nothing and nothingness and in a state of just being. Om is what we use in Sikh Dharma, because as Sikhs, we believe in living what we call the householder's life. So we believe in marriage, children, working, earning by the sweat of your brow, sharing with others, which is, of course, the basics of Democratic Party, is sharing with others and helping others, and worshiping God by serving the creation. In service is how we can find great joy. There's 4 principles: Seva, Simran, Bana, and Bani. Bana is the clothing we wear, which declares who we are. Why do we wear a turban? Why do we look the way we do? It's a way of saying, I belong to the Guru, I belong to God. If you need help, you can see a turban and know you can ask for help. So that's Bana. Bani is the meditation, is the word, is the different kinds of meditations, the word of God. That is very important to us. We sing songs that are all from our Guru. Our ultimate Guru is the Siddhi Guru Granth Sahib, which is the combination of many of the hymns, sacred songs from the Sikh Gurus and Hindu and Muslim saints. They're all compiled. We worship that as the word of God. We bow to it. When Guru Gobind Singh was about to die, he proclaimed that Siddhi Guru Granth Sahib would be the Guru for all time. Because at that point, the Sikhs had gotten to a level where they didn't need a human Sikh Guru. They could just relate to God directly through the Siddhi Guru Granth Sahib. Everyone is welcome to read it. Everyone is part of it. It's open to everyone. You don't have to live in a particular area to connect. So that is our Guru. And there's a sound that we can actually read the words as they were spoken by the Gurus and the Hindu and Muslim saints. And if in great concentration and open heart, you can actually have the experience they had when they were reciting this in their God-conscious way, in their God-conscious form of mind. So that is our Guru. So the sound Bani is very important, because by reciting the Bani, we connect to the Guru and to God. Seva means selfless service. There's a temple in India, which is the temple that we love the most, I guess, called the Golden Temple, Hari Mandir Sahib. It's in Amritsar in India, and it serves 10,000 people. No, it's more than that. It's 100,000 people a day in their free kitchen. So that is a super important part, is the seva, serving. Serving is a way of serving God. When you serve another human, you're serving God in that person. It's a way to worship. So, of course, just like the Democrats, we believe in service, believe in giving to others, that live like God, be a giver. God gives all the time. So that is the thing. If you live in that channel of letting God give through you, and you're giving to the God in the universe, what a wonderful way to live. And Simran. Simran is meditation. That is the one part that is very unique. It's the one order that is given in Sikh Dharma, is jap, meditate. And that isn't a request, it's an actual order. So to meditate is a very important part of being a Sikh. So meditation is super important. And Guru Nanak actually said, get up in the Amrit Vela, the nectar time, which is before the sun comes up, to meditate. And that's because it's the quietest time of day. There's nothing to distract you. And also it's the time when all the spirits of all the saints come and bless everybody who's meditating at that time. And you'll find that in many other religions too, other forms of worship. they believe in getting up before the sun and meditating at this quiet time. We also do a meditation in the evening because that time the sun is going down, a lot of people want a cocktail because it's disturbing. The sun is going down, it's sort of a little tiny death. But instead of having a cocktail, we'll have a cocktail of the Bani, of the Word of God, and recite Reharas, which is an evening prayer. It takes about 20 minutes, and it's very beautiful, and it makes you feel wonderful, gives you prosperity. It's wonderful. All the Banis, all the recitations have a very positive, powerful effect on our lives to help things run well and go well. We know there's going to be challenges. It's something a Sikh welcomes challenges. We'll have a problem for breakfast, another challenge for lunch, and another one for dinner. Sikhs welcome that because that's a way of serving, a way of helping the world, is to go into the challenge. And that brings me back to Guru Gobind Singh. At the time that he was born, his parents, Guru Tegh Bahadur was his father, and he was a very, very meditative man. He and his wife meditated for 30 years, almost all the time. And in that way, they gave birth to Guru Gobind Singh. And Guru Gobind Singh was such a high soul, he didn't even want to come back. We do believe in reincarnation. So God came to him and said, you have to go back and make the Khalsa. He said, oh, okay. So Guru Tegh Bahadur and his wife had Guru Gobind Singh. And when Guru Gobind Singh was only 9 years old, at that time, there was a very insane, horrible tyrant in India who was murdering anyone who would not convert to Islam. He wasn't really a Muslim. He was just a nutty tyrant. He killed his own father, his brother, in order to keep his power. And he was killing anyone who would not become Muslim. And at that time, the head of the Hindus, a whole group of them, went to Guru Tegh Bahadur, and because they heard that Sikhs would protect anyone, said, would you please help us? So Guru Tegh Bahadur said, I will go and see the emperor. If he can convert me, we'll convert everybody. So he went to the emperor. The emperor said, okay, show me a miracle. You're a guru, show me a miracle. He said, okay, I will. And the miracle is there's one God. He made all of us. We are all one. And the other thing he said was, you can't cut off my head. Guru Tegh Bahadur's head was beheaded. And at that time, the emperor realized, oh, he got me. Because there's one God and he's willing to sacrifice his head for faith and for others. This was all done to help other people so they wouldn't be killed. And then at 9 years old, Guru Gobind Rai at the time became Guru Gobind Singh. And then all through his time as Guru, the Sikhs were being persecuted and they had many, many battles. And he was training anyone who came to him who wanted to be a Sikh, was trained to meditate, to realize God, and martial arts. Because at that time he said, you have to be a soldier saint. As Sikhs, we believe in self-defense. We believe that you try everything, every kind of reasonable discussion, diplomatic work, all of that. But if it all fails, then it's righteous to take up the sword, to take up arms, to defend yourself, to defend those who can't defend themselves. So that's one thing. We are not total pacifists. We're pacifists up to a point. Somebody once asked a friend of mine why she wore this kirpan, which is a symbol of being a Khalsa. And she said, I wear the kirpan because I love you, I'll serve you, I'll do anything I can for you, but don't mess with me. So that was her response. And I always liked that because she was just saying, that's what it's like. I will stand for righteousness no matter what, but I will also try everything else before I take up the sword. So Guru Gobind Singh's army was fighting all the time, and there were very many, many battles. And the people in the hill chiefs were jealous of Guru Gobind Singh, trying to take away his land. And they didn't like the fact that people who were from the lowest caste were allowed to become a Sikh, become a warrior, become somebody who was respected. And there was, because the Sikhs don't believe in caste system, which is another thing that's, of course, very democratic. So I was laughing with Agdarshkar about how we were going to talk about how Guru Gobind Singh was a Democrat. And I guess he was, he really was. Okay, so I was talking about the sound current, and I'd like to invite you all to chant something. And it's a mantra, O-N-G, the one I was talking about, Om. And this is just so you can listen to yourself and to everyone else. So at this point, I would ask everyone to unmute, because it's the sound we create together that makes something beautiful. And again, this will just be for 1 minute. The way it's done is when you meditate, and I'm sure you teach this too, Pooja, when you do your mindfulness, you do want to sit with a straight spine, because the spine is like the trunk of your tree, of your body. And when it's straight, the energy can move freely through it. There are nerves channels along the side and in the middle that, you know, when you have a straight spine, that energy can move up and down very freely and make you feel great. You also want to have your chin slightly in so your head isn't like this, because that cuts off that energy movement. And in meditation, oftentimes you will look at what's called the third eye. It's where the pituitary gland is, the root of the nose, right about here. The eyes are closed and you roll them up so you're aiming them towards that root of the nose. Then we'll chant O-N-G, and the way we'll do it is you inhale deeply, you chant Om as long as you can, then you just take a breath and chant it again. So we'll have all our voices kind of overlapping, and you'll hear, and while you're chanting, I want you to listen to yourself and your sound merging with everybody else's sound. And it's a wonderful experience. It's a lot of fun thing to do in a group. Okay, would you like to participate? I hope so. Just sit up nice and tall. You can have your hands just folded in your lap or in what we call Gyan Mudra, first finger and thumb tips touching, like that. This is the wisdom finger, Gyan, and this is your ego, meeting together and saying hello. Okay, so please close your eyes and look deeply into the third eye and just chant along and make it powerful. Don't be shy, please. Okay, inhale deeply. Om. And inhale and relax. That sounded pretty good, even with Zoom. Good for you. Okay, great. All right, so let's see what else. So I think the main thing is that's pretty much it. Oh, when Guru Gobind Singh gave the Amrit, he also gave something, he established a thing where he made every woman name became Kaur, K-A-U-R, which means lion princess, and every man's last name was Singh, S-I-N-G-H, which means lion. And that was to give us the heart of a lion princess, to encourage people to establish in them that courage, that faith, and that heart. So that was that's one reason a lot of us who are Sikhs, you'll have the name Kaur or Singh because of that gift. And then Khalsa, which is Adarshkar in my last name, it means pure one. It doesn't necessarily mean we are pure, but it's something we aspire to. So that was given also by Guru Gobind Singh. He made the Khalsa, the pure ones, and he's the one who began that. Letting the past go, letting all the guilt and insecurities and anxiety go. And he established that he and Mata Sahib Ji were our father and mother, our spiritual father and mother. So those people who had issues with their parents, they had a new parent now. They had beautiful parents who were pure and powerful and loving and kind. That was another thing. Then he also established what we call the 5 Ks. So that was a thing when you take Amrit, it's a little further dedication than just taking Sikh vows, but it's similar. First one is Kesh, which means hair. Sikhs and the teachings of Guru Nanak through all the gurus, we don't cut our hair. And that is because we believe in living as God made us, that there's a reason God gives us hair. There's a reason that we are the way we are. It's not just random mistakes here and there. And we believe the hair actually channels energy to the brain. So oftentimes Sikhs will wear their hair up in the daytime to bring all that energy towards the crown chakra, the highest center in the body, and then let it down at night to relax. That is one thing. Then there was Kanga, which is the steel bracelet, which we wear to put steel in the aura. We need steel in our aura. And, all our lives we've known this. We need that little bit of strength and courage to get through this life with a smile and a good heart. That is what the Kanga is for. And
No, excuse me, it's a kata.
Kata, this is the kata. I beg your pardon. Thank you, dear. Kata. See, thank you. Kanga is the comb. Right. We wear a wooden comb in our hair, and that is a symbol of keeping yourself clean and well-groomed. And thank you. And then Kirpan, which is this little sword, which you can also wear just in your pin or in a pendant. And that is the sword of protection, that you remember that you're here to serve people, to help people, to protect, and that God is protecting you. And then there's the kachera, which is underwear. That's a special kind that was made in India and is still, that gives an air pocket in the thigh area to balance calcium, magnesium. It's very good for balancing your energy, but it's also to remind people that except for your spouse, everybody's a brother, sister, aunt, uncle, child. So, and that's how we're into monogamy, into just being faithful to your one spouse. So that's a reminder of that. Okay, it's a symbol of self-restraint. Okay, so that is basically most of what I have to say. I did want to do one. Oh, there's another thing in Sikh Dharma called Chardi Kala. At the end of every prayer we say Nanak Naam Chardi Kala Tere Bane Sarabat Da Bala. And that means, oh Nanak, through chanting the name, through meditating on the name of God, and it doesn't matter what name of God you use. There are a lot of names of God. Doesn't matter, but through that, our spirits are so enlightened and so uplifted. And by your grace, we send good wishes, success for everyone. May the spirits of everyone be elevated. And that's our prayer every time we have a prayer. And that is a big part of being a Sikh, is that we believe that if you can't see God in all, you can't see God at all. God is in everyone. God lives in everything manifest in this creation. Now, I'm going to ask Adarsh if she has anything to add. I'm going to put in the chat a mantra that I'm hoping you will please sing along with which I hope you sing. And then we're going to sing it, and then we'll have questions. Anything you'd like to add, dear one?
You covered it.
Okay. Okay. So this is the mantra that begins Japji and is basically the basis of all Sikh Dharma. And it's very beautiful. We often recite this just by itself because it really is this is the beginning of our Siddhi Guru Granth Sahib, the very beginning, because it is the base of all Sikh Dharma. And I'll explain the meaning, which is just nice to hear. You don't have, there's no test here. And it's a little long, yes. Ajuni Sevan, Gur Prasad. As I said before, Gur Prasad is all by the grace of the Guru. Okay. And I'm sure you're seeing similarities with your own faith. I was in a cab one time, and the cab taxi driver was like, so come on, tell me, what is this? It's in New York, And so I was telling him a little about it. He said, oh yeah, it's just like Catholics. I said, yeah, exactly. So it was great. Such. Okay, we're going to sing this with my very rudimentary guitar playing. So this is Ikonkar. That means there's one creator living in the creation. Ik, one. That's the main thing. We believe that one God made all the religions, all the different gods and goddesses, everything, all came from the one source. Satnam, truth is my identity, your identity, the essence of everything. Karata Purak, the doer. God is the doer of everything. The being is the doer. Nirabho, with no fear. Niraver, no enmity. And this mantra is really talking about ourselves. Not God being far away somewhere else, right in ourselves. So this is a great thing to remember. When you feel fear, chant this mantra, Nirabho, Niraver. I'm not fear. I have no fear. You have that in you, that the ability to be fearless. And this will bring it on. Akal Murat, the undying being. Ajuni, unborn. Sabang, self-illumined. Guru Prasad, realized through the Guru, through the grace of the Guru. And here's that one order of Sikh Dharma, Jap, meditate. What do we meditate on? Ad Such, in the beginning was truth. Such is the same as Sat. Jugad Such, throughout all ages, is truth. Have ye such, even right now in this very moment on this Zoom call, God is truth. Truth, it reveals itself. And Nanak, Hosi be such. Oops, that's supposed to be Nanak, N-A-N-A-K. Hosi be such. Oh Nanak, forever there will always be truth. So this one, I'm afraid you do have to mute because we're singing, and as we all know, you can't sing together on Zoom, unfortunately, because there's a delay. So 2 minutes, okay, for you, Pooja? Chanting? And then we have questions?
Yes, 2 minutes is good.
Okay, so I'm going to play this and sing it, and I hope you sing along. I do have to ask you to mute because the overlap of sound won't work, sadly so. All right, I'm timing it. Here we go. Jap Thank you. And just wanted to reiterate that Guru Nanak and all the gurus respected all religions and believed in all people's right to worship as they wished.
This was beautiful. Thank you for doing this. I have two questions for you. One is for you and others both. So when we talk about Sikh religion, what does it mean insofar as diversity and equity is concerned for the religion itself?
Do you mean what? I'm not quite sure I understand the question.
So,
Sorry.
So no, it's all right. So when we talk about Sikh religion or Sikh Dharma, so what does it mean insofar as diversity? You know, what does diversity and equity mean insofar as the Dharma is concerned for you? I mean, you and others. What what is your specific take on it?
Well, it's very important. I mean, being Sikh, we used to have trouble getting a job because of the turban or because of men's beards or things like that. And so, of course, we're into equity all the way. And of course, right after 9/11, a lot of Sikhs were persecuted. There was a couple of killings of Sikhs because people thought they were terrorists. We had a lot of targeting, and we're often just about 100% randomly selected when it's time to go through the TSA. So, we support everybody who is trying to get equal rights. We believe in equal rights for absolutely everyone. And of course, Sikhs go through this themselves, right along with everybody else.
For me, it was the fact that Sikhs were willing to die to protect other faiths.
That's true.
And I don't necessarily talk about it a whole lot, but as a Sikh, I am obligated to offer my head to preserve yours. So the sacredness of defending God's creation.
Yeah, that's a big part.
Gigi, you're muted.
Everybody who is
Thank you.
Everybody who is going through a trial right now, the Sikhs are with them. That's basic. We have one wonderful diplomatic fellow over right now delivering food to Ukraine and managing this huge truck from Yogi Tea in Europe. Just delivered a whole bunch of goods to help out over there.
Thank you. And the other thing I wanted to ask you is, specifically, this one is for you. Is there anything specific that you would like to add to today's program?
Well, it doesn't necessarily flow with what we've been discussing, but I would just take the opportunity to say that I've been active in the Democratic Party for 20 or 30 years. And I do belong to a group of people who write postcards to help turn out the vote. And those lists are very carefully collated, and we attempt to reach people who will vote Democratic if they vote, but they don't think that much about voting. So we're saying, please, all of you, everybody vote. I feel that way towards all my brothers and sisters, even if they're voting against my interests. I think it's just important to engage people in the responsibility, the privilege, and the process. So, Pooja, you can put anybody in touch with me who's interested in joining our group.
We will absolutely. I think that's a very important aspect of making sure everybody does their duty diligently and responsibly. So we'll absolutely do that. Guru Sangat, you were saying something?
I was just saying, Adarshkar does a lot of service to humanity. She's involved with many groups, interfaith groups. She goes to vigils. She goes everywhere, and she's just wonderful. She just knows everybody, and she's out there really spreading light and love and truth, and helping people become good Democrats.
Absolutely. Actually, I know she's big on interfaith because she and I were on a call recently, I think about a week and a half ago, which was a really big, massive interfaith call. But yes, it's, interfaith is huge, and, it needs to be, taken care of, and people have to lead it, and it's an effort that needs attention. So most certainly we need to, do all we can to make this world a better place. So before we go forward, I'm sure people have questions here. But Kanan actually had an announcement to make. So Kanan, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I'll be brief, and it's wonderful to see Guru Sangat Kaur and Adarji again. I can't wait to get back to Raj Gurudwara again. Great. And it's so, talking about message, talking about Democrats. And thanks for the wonderful presentation. It's beautiful to hear. And I'm a big devotee of Guru Gobind Singh. I have his picture here. It touches me very, very closely because I was in Manikaran 30 years ago at the temple, at the Gurudwara. And I will never forget River Parvati. I will never forget the langar in Manikaran. Such a beautiful temple. I never expected to be there. I was doing a hiking program. Never knew that I was going to be in Manikaran. Never knew that this beautiful Gurudwara was there. It still is in my memory. So I became a devotee of Guru Gobind Singh after visiting that Gurudwara in Himachal Pradesh. So, but talking about serving people, so one thing, and being Democrats, one thing I'm extremely happy to share with you all, which connects to all the service and the spirituality that we talked about, serving the needy and the Democratic Party principles. So Virginia Medicaid, which I'm very humbled to be part of, I'm the current vice chair. I've served there for the last 5 years as a board member. We just hit 2 million members in Virginia Medicaid.
Wow.
1/5 of Virginia is covered by Virginia Medicaid. 1 in every 3 pregnancy in Virginia is covered by Virginia Medicaid. It's such an astounding number. And that's because of the work Democrats have done the last 4 years down in Richmond. When I joined the board, 700,000 members. We just hit 2 million. We cover full adult dental care. We have behavioral health. So many improvements were made. 500,000, 600,000 were added due to expansion. 400,000 more were added due to COVID. Talk about, taking care of people. And it doesn't matter what political, to Adarshkar's point, a lot of them were probably won't Democrat, will not vote Democrat. But that didn't matter. That doesn't matter. It's taking care of people who are in need. And that's such a proud accomplishment. And I'm so glad we, as Democrats, have gotten together because we are taking care of people doing the right thing. I want to say a brief word about South Asians for America. It's a new organization. It's a newer organization. Used to be South Asians for Biden. It has merged and become South Asians for America. Saddam Salim, my co-state director, is on the call too. We are going to have a kickoff very soon. It's a national organization helping, supporting Democrats from the Asian American Pacific Islander community. Activating them, training them, helping them with campaigns. So, I'll send out information. I invite all of you for the kickoff, which Saddam and I are going to be doing sometime very soon. But wanted to talk about that for a second. But again, thank you so much. You literally took me back to Manikaran 30 years ago. Listening and to the gurus and my most devotional guru.
Right.
Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You contribute a lot. Thank you.
Oh, very kind of. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Thank you. We'll take any questions that anybody may have for Adarsh or Guru Sangat Kaur while we have them. So please.
It's not a question. It's more of an informational thing, Guru Sangat. Raj Khalsa is here, which I've been many times in Sterling. Is there another Gurudwara in Fairfax County Parkway? It's a larger one, or is it a older one? I see that sign, and I've been there, I think, once.
There, do you remember the name? Darsh, there's Guru Gobind Singh Foundation, but that's in Maryland.
Right. No,
Guru
I don't.
Nanak Foundation, I think is one, and the other they called the Burke Gurdwara.
Yes, Burr Gurdwara. Yes, that's right.
Oh, okay.
Yes, yes, Burr. It's called Burr. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, it's true.
It probably has another name too.
It might. All we know is it's the Burke Gurdwara.
Right.
There is going to be, when you brought up Medicaid, it made me think we are going to have a health fair at Raj Khalsa Gurdwara on, do you know the date, Adarsh?
May 8th.
May
Okay.
8th.
I would love to come. I'll bring information.
Mhm.
I was actually at the Adam Center recently.
Oh, good.
And 7 people came and talked to me, and I'm connecting them with the coordinators. It gives me so much satisfaction that, if we can make them all members. And that's why it's so important, what the message you said. All of this we do in politics so that we can do the right thing. So that it forces us. It's one way of doing the right thing and taking care of the people.
Yeah.
So I would love to come and talk about the new coverages we have.
And you can let people know there's going to be COVID. I think they're going to have boosters. They're going to have doctors there helping with people with, blood. I don't know if they're doing blood drive and also.
Yes, they are doing a blood drive.
Yeah, particularly Medicaid. A lot of our community members do not know about the new coverages. They do not know it has expanded. They do not know the dental coverage that's available.
Oh, if you're there telling people about it, that would be perfect.
Extremely important.
Yeah.
And it was all the wonderful work. I'll come back to our Democratic Party. Like you said, that was walking the talk of the Democratic Party. Even though you will talk to any delegate, you talk to any state senator, they will tell you if they all knew the majority of the new members are going to be Republican voters. That didn't matter at all. That didn't matter at all a bit, because it's the right thing to do.
That's great.
So I wanted to mention the name of the other Gurdwara that we were actually talking about. It's called the Singh Sabha of Virginia.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
I've been there lots of times.
Yes, for the record, because I go there all the time. So we have a couple of Gurdwaras in the area, and that's one of the oldest ones. Yes, that's right. So I wanted to be clear that yes, that's what it's called. So,
Thank you so much.
absolutely.
I'm embarrassed that I didn't remember.
Our Gurdwara is called Raj Khalsa.
Yeah, Raj Khalsa.
That's our Gurdwara, the one in Loudoun. Yes, of course.
Yeah.
The
So
rule,
Guru Sangat, if I may say this,
the
I'm sorry, go
pure
ahead.
ones.
Yeah.
Guru Sangat, if I may say this, I think helping and electing more Democrats, I think spiritually brings us to the Sikh spiritual path.
That's right.
We believe in doing and walking the talk.
That's right. Waheguru.
Yes.
So let's, I have a request for all the guests here today, this afternoon. Let's look nice and bright in our cameras. And I'm going to click a picture. Saddam, if you could turn on your video, that would be awesome. Let's capture this moment. Let's capture this day in history with all of us smiling nice and bright. Should I take another one just in case the earlier one didn't come out nice? All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Big smiles. Happy thoughts. Awesome. Now decide that if it doesn't turn out well.
It'll be perfect.
I think Praveen was driving. He may have dropped out due to.
Yeah, I think he left.
Yeah, he was driving.
Lisa, anything else from you this afternoon? Kathy?
I just want to thank everybody again for coming, and that presentation was amazing. I learned so much. I had absolutely no idea. So thank you for sharing all of that history and all of that knowledge with us.
You're most welcome. We packed a lot in a small time, and I hope your heads aren't just too much information. But it does have a lot rich history. And sometimes people come up to me and say, "Are you a Sheikh?" And I said, "Well, I'm a Sikh." So People don't know who we are, so it's always, we'd much rather people ask than just assume we're something.
Gail, do you have a question or a comment?
Oh,
Great.
just thinking.
No, this has been a phenomenal day in history that we've made together, all of us here. You know, we come from different faiths, and we are here this afternoon where we cherished a new culture, new tradition of belonging. You know, our Sikh culture tradition is very, very close to my own heart because I actually do come from a Punjabi background myself. So I grew up in Punjab, India. So the Gurudwara Sahib that's in Amritsar, the Golden Temple is a place that I've often visited and have beautiful, amazing memories from that place. This is actually a holy shrine for us Sikhs over there. And this is like, you know, I mean, this afternoon and having all our guests, Guru Sangat Kaur, Adarsh Kaur, it's been amazing. And, you know, every one of you have, you know, brought your energy to this event, to this episode. And, you know, it's like, you know, it's been phenomenal. So thank you for your time. Thank you to our guests for their phenomenal explanations and overview and arching aspects of Sikhism and the entire culture. Thank you for being with us this afternoon.
And if you are interested in hearing about the LCDC and the things that we are doing, please make sure to visit our website. And we do have our general membership meetings the first Thursday of every month. And it is open to the public.
Kathy,
where will the recording be on the website of this?
So I've got to download it from the cloud, and then we will put it on Facebook, put it on our website, and it will be on our YouTube channel.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And as part of the Diversity Inclusion Committee for LCDC, we have another big event planned for this month, and that will be in honor of Ramadan, which is also the holy month that Muslims are, praying to this particular month. And so that's also a shout out to them, and we'll bring another episode or another event for that. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you, everybody. I am going to stop the recording.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.